Kids nowadays have zero idea what it's like to wake up on a Christmas or a birthday and get the most absolute diabolical, incredible WWE action figure playset that they've ever seen in their entire lives, and then have that memory last with them forever for the rest of their lives, man. The other day, me and the stage creator were talking about this on our brand new podcast, man. I'm going to put a link in the description below, man. We are starting a brand new podcast called My Damn Creators, and it is going to be the ultimate wrestling action figure podcast brought to you weekly on Wednesdays. The first episode is going to drop on Wednesday, and it's going to be epic, man. You want to go check it out. We're going to try to get those uploaded to Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. We're in the process of doing that, but we are going to have them going live on the new channel for that exact podcast, so I will put a link in the description below. You can go check that out and go follow the socials, but I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about that at the beginning. But on the podcast, there was a mini segment, little spoiler here, there is a mini segment where we talk about playsets in there, and it had me thinking, man, this is something that I thought was just a part of growing up that was very special. You know, you'd wake up. I have one of the best, I call it the best Christmas of all time. One of my favorite Christmases, one of the best Christmases that I can recall, and I think it was Christmas 2001. It may have been 2002. I'm not entirely sure, but I remember this vividly. I woke up and one of my Christmas gifts was a Toys R Us exclusive Jakks Tag Team Special Edition box set. And in this entire box set, it was gigantic, by the way, in my head. I mean, I can see pictures of it today and it's still massive. But in my brain, I remember it being gigantic as well, especially as a kid, right? But this set included every member of the TLC matchup. So you had Edge and Christian, you had the Dudleys, you had Matt and Jeff Hardy. It also came with a hardcore action ring, is what they called it. It had a little spring in it, it had a little bounce action to it that was awesome. And it also included a tag team belt. It was like a foam tag team belt that you could put in your collection. So, you know, and back in this day, I had this stuffed frog that was giant. It was probably 5.5 feet tall or something. And that right there, that is where a lot of my memories were made as a kid, man. I would go outside and I would wrestle this frog and put on fake matches, jumping off of my house. My grandmother still tells the story to this day of her coming outside and being like, she told me the story just the other day. She walked outside and she sees me on the roof and her heart sank, obviously, because why the hell are you doing that? And, you know, doing extreme stunts off the roof, getting your dad's ladder out of the shop and doing moves of whatever onto the trampoline versus this frog, putting on 5-star classics, right? I mean, we main evented WrestleMania like 30 times. It's just, those are the memories, man. And so you know, you kind of equate that to certain superstars and certain memories, and you had your action figures, and the playsets back in the day were just the greatest thing that you've ever seen, man. I mean, I just don't think, I mean, even Mattel has made really good playsets. We have seen these things in the past. I mean, it's been a very long time since we've seen these playsets. It's been over a decade now, pretty sure, since we've gotten a just genuine fantastic playset. If I'm not mistaken, you can let me know if I'm forgetting one. But the Backstage Brawl playset with the curtain that they could go through, it had the GM's office with the door, it had the couch accessory, it had the little roller storage case, all that different stuff is fantastic. Not to mention the training area that had, you know, the barbell and the mirror and all these really cool accessories. And I know that a lot of people will say, oh, well, we don't have Toys R Us anymore, so it's really tough to put out these playsets. That's what Mattel will say. They will say, oh, well, this is why we can't do that anymore, because there's not really a Walmart and a Target don't really want to hold these types of playsets. We have seen them hold some different things and everything like that, and we have seen them kind of pushed out into box sets, which we can get into as well. But, you know, there's not really a store that specializes in toys anymore. It's become a thing of the past, which is really sad. I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with the world we live in now with, you know, muted colors, and it's just not everything's as fun or as vibrant or as, I don't even know, man. Everybody knows what I'm talking. It's almost like corporate or something has just come in and sucked the soul out of everything in the U.S. now, where there's just nothing that has that feel that the 90s had or that the 2000s had, especially in the early on 2000s, where, you know, you go into Toys R Us and the whole entire aisle would be filled with toys and everybody was buying and it was a thing. And what's crazy is I'm pretty sure the market itself is bigger than it's ever been. It's just the way that people are consuming it and the way they're buying it and everything, I think, has just shifted. But man, I know there's still mom and pop shops out there or smaller toy stores out there, and shout out to those guys because they are doing God's work getting these, you know, still having toys available, physical toys. And I know you can even throw in the, you know, the electronics and the video games and all these different things, but I had video games growing up too, man. I don't know. Just, I think the way that everything's progressed is crazy. But anyways, just the different playsets, man. I mean, you could talk about the Elimination Chamber playsets or the Hell in a Cell playsets. And I know Mattel has put out quite a bit over the years. They have put out playsets. They're just not quite the same as they were back in the day with the, and we had the Backstage Brawl play sets, or just the Hall of Pain with the different operational doors and stuff. And Mattel, again, has made things like this, but they're no longer a thing because Toys R Us no longer exists, because Kmart, Kmart was actually the one doing a lot of those play sets too. Kmart was crushing it with some of those fun play sets. But I know we get the rings. They make so many damn rings, man. There are a ton of rings. We get not just the Ultimate Edition rings, but the basic rings and the quote-unquote hardcore action rings of nowadays, where they'll put a Roman Reigns or a John Cena, a Cody Rhodes, whatever the case, and they'll throw it in with a basic action ring. And I know those go triple platinum, and I think they definitely deserve a spot in a collection because they are so popular with kids. I think that they're an easy sell. And we have seen the inclusion of some new play sets with the Knuckle Crunchers, which I think is huge as well. But man, it would be really nice to see them do some, action figure play sets that are more relative to the basic action figures or the elite figures or something like that. And I know that, I think it kind of hurt us with the Nitro stage and stuff like that. That's kind of a play set. I mean, I think that was more catered towards collectors, really. I mean, especially when you're getting into WCW. But I don't know. I think they could make a modern stage or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that the market's not out there. But my God, man, it's just a sad thing, and maybe I'm just out here, old man yelling at the clouds, like, oh, back in my day, you could get a play set for 70 cents down at the old country store. And, I understand that, but damn, man, I don't know, it's very sad, really. I mean, it's just kind of sad. It sucks to look back at when you think of the lack of play sets and the lack of things that are out there. And I will tip the cap to Mattel because the action figures are very good, and the Wreck and Slam vehicles are insane. The Wreck and Slam vehicles, they may not be playsets, but by God, they are very, very good. If you don't have any of those Wreckin' vehicles, they are really good, man. I think that, they may look a little bit cheap here and there, but you talk about the Slambulance, I think that's an all-time Mattel vehicle or action figure playset in the wrestling space in terms of vehicles. That Wreckin' Slambulance is fantastic. The Lucha Lowrider is also fantastic. The Big Rig is also very fun. The different motorcycles. They had the forklift with Brock Lesnar. There are a lot of really good Wreckin' Slam vehicles, and I think those deserve their flowers. We also know we're getting a brand new Slambulance in red, but man, I don't know. The vehicles are great. They really are, and they allow for a lot of playability. You can have a lot of fun with those ambulance matches and stuff. But in terms of really diving deep into your universe, you kind of have to custom make it unless you have those old sets. And I know that people like extreme sets exist, but they, for a display or for photography and things like that, they get the job done. But as far as action play sets in terms of features, like a breakaway locker or things that go together in the playset that break away, like a window or some of these other things that we have seen in other lines, I think that would be incredible to see from Mattel. And I know that we've mentioned it, and, I know that they look into it. I'm just guessing that the money's probably not worth it to them or to them as a company, a business. I don't know if it's just, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this point with Mattel when it comes to playsets. But my God, they used to make some absolute bangers. And I know that the crowdfunder, I don't know when we'll get an update on the crowdfunder. I don't expect to get a crowdfunder update at WrestleMania. It'd be incredible if they did give us some sort of crowdfunder update. I don't expect to see that. But I mean, I guess that will play into it, the Elimination Chambers or the Hell in a Cells, which would be great. If they are crowdfunder, I would count that as a play set or some sort of display item. I guess it depends on the features, because the Slambulance and stuff like that is considered kind of a play set because it has action things with it, right? A spring-loaded this, a breakaway that. That is what kind of makes it a play set. But in terms of, like the Nitro stage, not necessarily a playset, more of a exclusive collectible item or a sort of display to collectors. I wouldn't call that necessarily a playset, even though you could do some different things in terms of a playset style with that. I don't really consider that a playset. And really, the rings, are they really playsets? I mean, I don't know if I would classify that as a playset. I'm talking about traditional backstage, announce table fun style stuff that they can do. And again, I think Mattel has done some really great things in the past. I just wish that we could kind of get back to that. And I know Toys R Us was still alive back then, Kmart was still alive back then, but I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think that they could do it? I think Mattel could possibly do it through Mattel Creations. Maybe they could do it through Ringside Collectibles, where they give us these play sets or some options for this. Or hell, maybe they could do it in a, not necessarily, and I don't know, because, you know, the collectors, the people that are deep in the weeds like me or you, I feel like you're pretty deep into the collecting game. If you're watching this video, you probably are, not just a casual. But at the same time, they really rely on catching those casuals at Toys R Us and stuff for birthdays and Christmas, right? Little Jim Bob's mom is going down the aisle looking for Christmas presents. She's like, oh my goodness, this would be epic. He would love this gigantic playset, and I'm willing to spend $200 on it, or $150 or $100 on this playset, because it is Christmas. It's whatever. I want it to be special. And so if you do that through a crowdfunding service, won't really render the same things, because it's going to be hard to get that in front of people. And I think people are way more willing to buy something if it's right in front of their face. I think that's kind of marketing 101 and kind of market psychology, where if somebody sees something in person right in front of their face, they're willing to purchase it right there, instead of, I'll put $300 down right here and I'll wait 6-8 months or whatever the hell it is and then get my item. I think that the psychology there is a lot more on the in-person aisle experience rather than paying for it online. So I don't know, man. These are just some things that I talked about, or that we, have considered and brought up in conversations and everything, man. But I wanted to get on here and talk about the playsets a little bit here today, and also tell you guys about the new wrestling figure podcast we have started, and it's exciting, man. I'm really hyped. I think it's going to be great. I will leave links in the description below for the My Damn Creators podcast. Go check it out. There will be posted up on Wednesday, and you should go over there and subscribe. And also, I think we're going to have it where it's going to pop up on both feeds, so you should be able to find it regardless. But I would appreciate it if you'll go over there and subscribe, turn on the bell and everything like that, and check out our first episode that's going to debut on Wednesday, man. But I appreciate you guys so very much. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. I appreciate you guys. I want to know your thoughts down below on the playset stuff. Let me know, man. Let me know what you're thinking there, but I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I will catch you guys later.